All right, everybody, I am Andrew Badella. That is Jordan Carter. That is Juice Springsteen. We are live for No Dirt, Just Dialogue. We got a lot to talk about. It is an Elimination Chamber weekend here in the United States, Canada, and wherever you are watching from. We solely appreciate that. Juice, Jordan, we're going to get to our Elimination Chamber predictions. There's a lot that happened last night on Dynamite. We're going to get into MJF. The whole Hangman stipulation. We'll get into that review. We'll talk about AJ Styles. He's going into the Hall of Fame. We'll do a lot of your questions, your comments, and your concerns. But before I get into everything and we give you the complete rundown, I'm going to ask these boys how they're doing. I know a lot of you out there do care. So, Juice, we'll start with you first. How you doing?
Can't complain. Weather's making a turn here. So we might be out of the woods as it pertains to winter. I'm kind of over it, to be honest.
I've heard you guys want to have a talk with the groundhog.
That's one word for it. That's one way to describe it.
Yeah, why don't you go in the bedroom for a little bit?
That's start July 4th early and cook out earlier than we normally would.
I've never had groundhog. Don't feel like I want to try it.
Can't say that I have either. Got to be honest.
Sure there's somebody on here who has. God bless you. If you want to let us know how the groundhog was, I'll pass on ever trying groundhog. But hey, Jordan, how about you, my man? How are things where you are in the great state of Texas?
I'm great. We're enjoying a nice 79 degrees. So nice. Yeah. It's been beautiful these past couple of days. Like it'll be warm during the day and then a little chilly at night, but it's been fantastic weather-wise. I've been chilling. Yeah, a lot to talk about this week.
Absolutely, a lot to talk about.
Wait, Andrew, how are you doing? You always ask us, how are you doing?
That's very nice of you. That's very nice of you, Juice. Your mother and father raised you well. I'm good. It's been a busy day, busy week. Sports for my children in full swing. I got to cover this crazy world of professional wrestling. And then I got to be an executive at this job. So, yeah, it works. It works. 79, Jordan, sounds nice. I had a lot of people asking me about the AEW show here in St. Paul and whether I'd be doing something for it. It's in March. I will unfortunately be in Orlando, Florida. So 79 sounds where I'd like to be in terms of temperature. So hopefully, when we get to Orlando, Florida, the week of the 23rd, we'll get some of that nice weather. It's not Texas weather, but I'll be in Florida. So,
nice
yes. So I apologize for those wanting to do something for Dynamite here in St. Paul. I always try and make my presence at the AEW show, but I will not be there. All right, let's talk about AEW. I want to stay there because we'll end the show with chamber predictions. We'll talk about AJ Styles going into the Hall of Fame, how everyone kind of thought, hey, what is Taker? He had everybody by the short hairs, as they like to call it, when Taker said, we have some unfinished business.
Or if it's referring to you, no hairs.
You got it, Juice. I know where you're going there. No, all right. All right, we're not bald shaming people on this show. You can bald shame.
Can I shame you? Can I shame you for putting out a photo of Gunther and the Undertaker as if
that
was a possibility? And then
don't even get me started on the shit that you put out. That John Cena didn't get half the retirement that AJ Styles did.
Actually, that's not what I said. I said AJ Styles had a more impactful retirement than WWE gave to John Cena for reasons I can describe later on. We'll talk about.
You know what? That's the point of the show. We will debate and we will have dialogue, and I will tell you you're wrong. But I mean, it is what it is.
Well, wait till we talk about something in this program, and I'll tell you how wrong you are. So,
I know. Here we go. We're gonna do the whole thing. It's good. This is what this is all about. We want the people to sit back and enjoy themselves. Grab your popcorn, grab your whatever, your gluten-free bullshit because you can't eat gluten or whatever you guys and girls like to indulge in. Go for it. Let's talk about AEW and let's talk about Dynamite last night. Jordan, I'm going to start with you. We saw the MJF segment with Hangman Page. I thought it was done well with the quarter. I thought everything that they did, Max's stipulation, which, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, all right? Because I've been mistaken a couple times. I've just never been wrong, Juice. So before you even think about retorting on some of the things that I put out there, I've only been mistaken, not wrong.
Never wrong. Yeah, right.
Did Kevin Knight spoil MJF's stipulation? He did. Okay. I thought maybe he put it out somewhere. Whatever. I love Kevin. I think he's a hell of a talent. I think he is somebody who I did put on my list here of people that I think could potentially be in the main event scene for All Elite Wrestling for the next 3 to 4 years and really carry that company in terms of being in that main event scene. I named some others, which we'll get into. You could save your hate for a certain somebody towards the end because I will make all of you on the internet. And if my co-host here decides
no hate, just facts,
like a bunch of absolute idiotic fools, but we'll save that. We'll save that.
Sure. And you're doing a show with us, so where's that put?
And what does that say about me? I am the master of idiots. All right, the head idiot right here. So let's talk about the MJF Hangman Page segment because a lot of people were talking about it. I didn't hate the segment. I've said this since day one, and I want both of your opinions on it. Obviously. I don't like the Hangman Page can never challenge for the world championship. Texas Death Match fits Hangman Page. It's his match. I get it. A Texas Death Match in LA, I just don't like that, but it is what it is.
It's called a backlot match brawl. Do what they did with.
All right, Jordan. Okay, let's stick there for a second. Yeah. What is Texas about this death match? Are they going to bring out a Texas Lone Star broken plate of glass?
I'm a resident, not a native, but here around in Texas, we have a saying, "Don't California my Texas."
Okay? Yeah.
So, this
Don't
is
Chicago my pizza. Don't Chicago my pizza.
This is very out of place. If you ask me, just keeping it. I would rather them name it a backlot brawl like they did with Mariah and Tony.
Why couldn't they do a Hollywood death match? I mean, I get it. Hollywood death match.
I would say, you can't call it Hollywood ending. So
it's a death match. Doesn't that work? I know we're arguing semantics here, Jordan and Juice, but doesn't that work?
You're arguing semantics, but it is also the type of match where the specifics of the actual match are fitting of Texas Death, which is the one that's happened since 1975, where if you get pinned, then it's a 10-second count and you have to get up from that. So I'm just saying.
This is why I am one of the best, if not the best. No, I'm not going to say that. This is why I'm a good host. All right. I have to ask the questions because truthfully, you have a vast knowledge of professional wrestling. Okay. So does Jordan.
Yeah.
But someone's got to explain to me why we keep calling these Texas death matches. You just did.
Yeah, and I can't explain exactly why, but I did pull up the history of it. The first one took place in New York at Madison Square Garden with Bruno and
why is it a Chicago street fight? Or excuse me, why is it Texas? Go ahead.
You got me. It doesn't give an origin story on the whole thing. And the first 4 or 5 aren't even in Texas. Memphis, Boston, Atlanta, New Jersey, Philly, New Orleans, of course, where Vader and Cactus Jack.
To imply that, like, here in Texas, things are a little bit more dangerous, which they are.
Yeah, that's where I would wager that started from, but I couldn't tell you why they
called it. Compton death match. Could have done a Brooklyn death match. I mean, I don't. I mean, let's go East Coast, West Coast here. You're going to tell me that there's parts of Texas
So all I can
more dangerous than Compton or Brooklyn.
All I can gather was that Dory Funk was in one of them that took more than 4 hours.
All right.
So like it was the Funks. It was
Listen,
the Funks.
I love
so
Texas,
they probably created that,
Texas.
and that's where it originated. But the mainstream ones took place.
Yeah, listen,
not in Texas.
Save your Texas hate for people who don't like Texas. I love Texas. I vacation in Texas. I've thought about moving to Texas. I don't hate Texas. I love me some Texas. All right, but I'm just saying, like, all right. So there's specific rules to this Texas death match. Fine, whatever. Let's get off that for a quick second here.
Sure.
Do you boys like the fact that Hangman Page is not going to be able to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship if he loses? Now, I understand they don't want to just maybe have a regular match where everyone's like, well, Max is going to beat Hanger. So we got to add some stipulations. Now everything's locked in Hanger's favor in terms of the stipulation, the Texas death match. But are we really to believe that the Big Hebrew is going to drop that championship in LA? Because I don't want Hangman Page out of the World Heavyweight Championship title picture for the foreseeable future. And for those wondering, Hangman Page's contract does not end until the end of 2027. And I said this last week. I don't think this is him being like, going to WWE. I don't need a challenge for that. Because I just don't see it. Because somebody who's very prominent over there called him an empty-headed you know what? So, I mean, Jordan, I'll go to you. So, do you like this whole thing?
Personally, I thought that was I said it last night. That was the low light of the show for me, personally. We did a bunch of convoluted, like, oh, it's a trick coin, just to get to the match that we knew that we're going to get to. This was a very long way to get to a Texas death match, which we knew were going to happen. So personally, for me, it was a low light of the show. I would have just liked a promo battle between the two, maybe a contract signing between the two, if we're going to go that far.
Still have time for that, by the way.
We do still have time for that. But I would have liked this whole, let's bring Shivani out. Let's flip the coin. Hold on. Wait, stop. And then we're going to bring out Brody.
It did seem convoluted, didn't it?
We're going to bring out Brodito for the visual. Oh, Hangman finally remembers that he's a part of a trios team. Brings them out. Like, we did all of this.
I thought it worked.
It did. Did it work? Sure. But, like, the same way a Model T worked, and if you ever know anything about a Model T and how to drive that thing, it's very convoluted.
Sure.
So the same way a Model T works. And that's
Are you comparing MJF's promo to the Ford Model T?
I'm comparing I'm comparing last night's whole segment to a Model T. Absolutely. Did it work? Sure. But we had to move this part. We had to move that part. We had to get this. We had to get that just to move.
It was like a Rube Goldberg just to get to the finality that we all pretty much predicted anyway.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about MJF's stipulation, which I've never seen, but I thought it was very heelish.
Frankly, it sounded made up. I didn't know what the hell that was. I would have liked to have seen it happen.
A one-way DQ, I can do whatever I want, but if the moment you touch a chair, you get disqualified. And to me, for Hangman putting the ultimate babyface stipulation of I will never challenge for this title again, it would have been really nice to see him struggle through that stipulation in this match.
Okay. Yeah,
I would have liked to have seen that only because we've seen a Texas death before, and I'd rather go into this match knowing that the odds are stacked against Hangman because it's more intriguing instead of the other way, which it is now, where Hangman has all the advantages, yet I could easily see him losing because of that. And so that's my challenging again.
Right. That's why I'm bringing this stuff up. This is, again, the hostess with the mostest. This is why I bring this stuff up. Everything is stacked towards Hangman's favor. It's like the Chiefs playing a home game for the AFC Championship at Arrowhead against the Patriots. Now, the Patriots should win the game, or the Chiefs should win the game, but the Patriots are the defending AFC champions, all this other stuff, and it just seems like, it should go Hangman's way, but it's starting to feel like it's not going to, because that's what we're all programmed to believe as pro wrestling fans. So I ask, would the stipulation of the one-way no DQ fit this match better in terms of the unpredictability?
just by way of me not really knowing what it really is, or just thinking it is one guy, the heel can do whatever he wants, and the babyface can't, especially with the babyface back against the wall with his challenging for the championship, I think it would have been more interesting. I posed the question to either of you. What do you want to see? Like, what do you want to see more? Do you want to see, I don't know how to phrase it, but like the fact that MJF could lose the championship so quickly? Or would you rather see that, or would you rather
won the
have
championship in what? Was it December?
It was December, but this is the first show since first pay-per-view since then. Or would you rather see Hangman never challenge for it again and feel like you're backed into a corner? I really don't want to see either of those things happen, but this is how it is. There is no like third option.
I think the best way to do this, just from somebody who's on the outside and kind of just looking in, is I think Hangman should win the match. I think MJF should get screwed because it's a Texas death match by somebody, Brody King, Bandito. I don't care who.
Well, and to your point, Drew, the fact that the main event scene is so deep now, there's plenty of people that have already wanted to take a piece of MJF that could easily interfere in a no DQ match like Texas Death and cost them the match. And there you go.
Yeah, that's where I think we should go, because Hangman Page can defend the championship at Dynasty, okay, some month later, and lose it back to MJF. And MJF's still this dastardly heel. MJF, listen, I know they don't normally hot potato the title, and that's fine. AEW is known for its long reigns, and their champions are cemented with those reigns, and I get it. But it's okay to have MJF have a 4-month reign or a 3-month reign, and that would be a 4, and then get the championship back. I mean, shit. Ric Flair, John Cena, Randy Orton, they're multiple-time world champions, which means they would have had to lose the championship. Probably on Steve Austin, I believe, lost the championship and then won it back the next night. So, I mean, like, it can happen in wrestling.
I also I just feel like I don't want to lose the option of Hangman as a chase, like chasing the championship. I think that's such you know, you can go back to that anytime you want. But I also like what Kat said there. I think I could with Swerve's character, I really think Swerve could screw Hangman over and be elevated to such a high level because he just cost Hangman forever.
Well, and here's the thing too, that I want to touch on that comment. I want to touch on what Juice just said, and I'm going to go back to you, Jordan, here. I don't want Hangman to get screwed and then Tony have to make this, well, we have to pull back the stipulation because technically he was screwed and it's not how we wanted the match to go down. And I don't think AEW will do that. The thing that I'm going to push back on Jordan was because Jordan, I started to say that he doesn't really feel as if Hangman should maybe challenge for the championship ever again, or it's all said and done and we've seen it already. Swerve and Hanger for the world championship is a feud that kind of just is there, and it would be great. And Swerve is like leveling and just doing things on a completely different echelon right now. So I would like to see the potential to have Hangman and Swerve in a program for the world championship.
I see your excuse me. I see your Hangman Swerve, and I raise you a person who's also been raising their stock and who I think would be a great injection in this world title scene, and someone else who I think could cause Hangman the loss, and that's Andrade. I know
Andrade could cost MJF though, because if you remember now, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, the HOG stuff with Andrade and MJF, they used that into Collision, and they showed the footage, which I dig the partnership. There was something I didn't dig that House of Glory did, which I'll get into in a little bit here. But
I'm unfamiliar.
You're unfamiliar? We're here. Let me fill you in real quick. I felt as if what they did, trotting JD out there, whether or not you like the man or not, is neither here nor there. You have your opinions. I'm all for it. You are justified in your opinions because that is your opinion. But having JD cut a promo in the middle of the ring in front of a fan base that he has no business being in front of, because he's not a wrestler, he's not a manager, he's not a ring, he doesn't do the ring announcing. He's a commentator. You could have had JD behind the commentary desk and said the same damn thing to the people watching at home on the stream or the pay-per-view or whatever it is, and the message would have gotten across very easily. You made him look like a buffoon, in my opinion, and I thought that it was garbage. And don't get me wrong, JD could have handled himself differently. He could have went out there and told the fans to fucking bring it. Come on, come on. That's my one F that I get. Come on, bring it. Bring it, bring it, bring it. And he didn't, because I think he was told to go do something, and he did what he was asked of, truthfully. And I hated it. I hated it because it made him look like a complete jackass. And he knows this because I told him personally, I felt like you look like a jackass. And I'll leave it at that.
Just to personally, yeah, no, I think why we talked about this. Why have him out there like that?
Yeah, it doesn't make he does not. He did
Well,
nothing for the show.
Did the question ever come up of maybe like why are we like what possible things could go wrong if we send him out there? Because if that was never discussed, what did you think was going to happen?
You want to know what I think? Here's what I think.
Felt like they tried to make him. They knew exactly what type of reaction they were going to get, and said, "Look, this is potentially a punishment for what happened. Go out there and get this heat." And it's like,
go out there and get this heat that we're not going to capitalize on, because it seems like the heat was too much.
As like an exchange, so that you
did House of Glory even retweet the video? Did they comment? No, they didn't. They let the internet run wild with it. And if they really wanted to do something with it, they would have retweeted it. They would have used it, and they could have. You could have used him at the end of the show if you really wanted to get heat on him. You didn't. And I think what this was is House of Glory saying, "Kiss the ring, bitch, and get out there and do what we tell you." And I don't like it. I come at JD.
That's what I felt. It felt like a humiliation thing.
Yeah,
like, and send his ass out there.
Humiliation ritual.
I have come at JD numerous times. I speak to the man. I know the man behind the character that he plays on this whole thing. And he does phenomenal views, and he does all this other stuff. And whether you like the guy or you don't, that's neither here nor there. What they did to him, House of Glory, I thought was garbage. And JD, if I was JD, I would have told him absolutely not. Did JD owe some people an apology? Absolutely.
That's where I was
going. The way that it went down was garbage. And House of Glory knows it, and so does JD.
And that's where I wanted to interject. I also don't want to paint JD as a victim here either.
I'm not painting JD as a victim.
I'm not saying you are.
What I'm saying is that they could have handled it totally differently.
Exactly. But I'm just saying that I think there are multiple pieces at fault here. There's a reason JD had to be out there in the first place or have to say something, right? So it's not on, anyone else other than him for that. But the way that they approached House of Glory, meaning,
sure,
I don't think they did it the right way
either.
And
if you wanted to do it this way,
nobody looks good.
You could have had Red or Brian come to the ring and it say, "Ladies and gentlemen, look who's back on commentary, and he's got something to say." And then what they could have done is pan to him and his announce partner, and he could have said his shtick, protected behind the commentary desk. And I'm not talking about protective in terms of like fists or kicks or fights or whatever. Protected in terms of he is doing nothing storyline-wise that warrants him going to the ring to give an apology to people who were going to crucify him anyway. So
taking time away from the actual show.
Yeah.
If you want something to be real, make it real. Like if you want to apologize, there are appropriate ways to apologize to the appropriate people. He didn't need to go out there to be in the middle of the ring. They were looking for a viral moment. They were looking for a clickable moment. They got it.
And they didn't use it at all. It was too hot to handle.
Yeah, congratulations.
You played yourself.
You played yourself. Yeah, and real talk, they have, because now you're the company that brought him back. So who looks worse?
Sure.
So
again, apology was deserved. The way it was constructed was horseshit, and it just seemed like it was very. This is what we want. We're going to make you do it. And if you don't do it, then,
you might not be able to come back and work. Yeah.
What the hell did the live crowd needed a public apology from JD for?
And that's what I was trying to get at is like, it seemed like, if you do this for us, like you can come back in and do what you were doing. And I don't think that's the way to do it. Like,
no,
House of Glory should have said, well, what are we doing? Like, do we want this guy back? Okay,
But
we have him back. But you shouldn't have to like bribe him or have him do something. If JD didn't want to apologize, I don't think he should have felt that he had to.
No, JD,
it should have been on his own volition.
I know that JD had no problem apologizing.
No problem, but did he want to?
You'd have to ask him. I mean,
okay,
but I know that
that's fair.
JD did what he was told, and if JD has listened to me on a couple different things, and I've advised him on things, and he has a good person in his corner that advises him on things as well, I could tell you that the both of us were aligned in not doing it. So, I mean, not me and JD, me and the person that advises him as well. And I'm not JD's agent. I don't handle that type of stuff. I wasn't privy to the information beforehand, but after I saw the clip, I immediately texted him and said, I wish you wouldn't have done this.
No,
it's not heat. That was not heat. That was hate.
I think it would have been
different.
I think honestly, it would have been a lot better if JD would have done an apology if he wanted to. If he doesn't want to apologize, that's also his prerogative. But I felt that if he wanted to apologize and make amends and, do it on your own show. Yeah. And then because he has the audience and then they could see that. And maybe it's maybe they don't have to get forced into something at House of Glory to put him on the air, or in the ring rather.
There's a reason why people try and leech off of JD. His viewership numbers are very high. We get that. And his content does great numbers, and that's fine. Sure. If that's the type of content that you like, so be it. I'm more power to you. You can't tell me that HOG doesn't benefit by having some of JD's audience go over there. Just like when guys like Coach or Russo or whomever else want to partner with him for a show here or there, it's because they want to try and capture that audience. You'd have to be an absolute moron not to think that.
Well, they say as such. They say he's bringing in good numbers, and we want to do collaborations, and
let's move on. We spent enough time on that.
Yeah. Circle back to the segment from last night in Revolution, because we got about 17 days till Revolution. Which, by the way, I will be there. I just finalized all my details. The hell that is LA. Andrew, I see why you don't like it. I haven't even touched down.
And you're probably out like 2K. Yeah.
I'll tell you. I'll give you the details.
Financially recover after this.
I'll give you the details.
Listen, Jordan, I went to I worked and helped every WrestleMania since WrestleMania 28 in Miami. Yeah. Okay. And I did them all through WrestleMania 38 in Dallas. Obviously, the one that nobody attended, I didn't go to. And I even went back to WrestleMania at WrestleMania 40 and 41 to help with certain things. And I did not go to 39. And it wasn't because I couldn't afford it. It was because you can't make money out there. That is a losing endeavor. It is an absolute losing endeavor. Even the New York, New Jersey ones were just barely where you were like, okay, I broke even. LA is a nightmare in terms of, and that stadium's gorgeous. I've been there, but it's in Inglewood.
I'm in Texas, and yeah, you could say it's, stuff is spread out, but not like California. Like where my hotel is to where I need to be than where the show is at. I mean, it's.
You got friends out there?
Yeah.
Good.
I got
they have a car.
Yeah, that's the thing. And even then, it's the traffic. It's all. But anywho, I think I was saying Andrade. I think Andrade.
Yeah, and the reason we were talking about Andrade is because they used the MJF Andrade interaction from HOG House of Glory on Collision, which, to Jordan's point and Juice's point, maybe Andrade screws MJF.
That's because I think you talk about swerves on another level. Just to touch on that promo last night, again, on another level, coming out, no music, coming out through the crowd, standing on top of the. So, and I have to say, I love that Nana committed. Like we were questioning, like, is Nana with the heel turn, his reactions, he didn't really seem sold. And now he's sold. So it's great. They're on the same page. That's awesome. I love the nods to what he did. Talking about, this is sturdy, this is a good table,
the mama boy.
I think that leads to remember we talked about there's yes, Kenny's busy, but there's a window.
Sure.
I think Swerve's promo left me to believe that window may get utilized.
I could see it. I could see it.
He did, because you would have, again, we're 2 weeks away. You would have given him an opponent by now, would you not? You know,
Kenny?
Swerve doesn't have a Revolution opponent.
Well, now he will. Didn't Brody suggest?
Yeah, you're right.
Because right after that was Andrade and Bandito.
So it's going to be. We're going to have. So I'm thinking that's going to be Dynamite next week. So that's going to be Revolution.
Yeah. I would assume. I mean, you know what assuming does, but yeah, I don't think they burned that match at
Brody and Swerve would be. Well, they did Swerve and Kenny.
I mean, yeah,
because of
that's for a reason.
I know. I know. What I'm saying is they've done huge matches on free TV before. Mm-hmm. It's not out of the realm. Drew, you act like you don't watch weekly.
I think though. Again, I don't like this stipulation that Hangman has, because look at us. We're trying to figure out who can, come in and.
Well, there's only 3 official matches for Revolution right now. And I believe that's Moxley and Takeshita in a no time limit for the Continental Classic, the Big Hebrew versus Hangman for the World Heavyweight Championship, FTR and the Bucks for the tag titles. And I'm pretty sure Andrade and Bandito has been announced as well.
So they're going to do Bandito. So Bandito, Andrade, Brody, Swerve.
Oh, okay. It also doesn't help in the stipulation part of it when MJF references that Cody, without naming him, that this same thing happened to somebody else and it derailed everything for them. So it's like, again, that makes me feel like they clearly have an idea where one of these guys is going to get screwed out of it or whatever, but they're like telegraphing it by saying, we know that the fans are aware that this backfired early.
That should lead us to believe that if they are aware that this should be good, that we're going to get something satisfactory. We
on
should.
Pay-per-view with AEW, with an ending that satisfies the fans.
Somehow, because there's a few ways that Hangman, because I was toying with the idea, shout out to Hannibal on his space yesterday. There are people toying with the idea of how Hangman could get back, and that's he can do a heel turn and just ignore and go back on his word. I'm not really a big fan of that one. You could have someone advocate for him. He could crawl to the Don Callis family, and he could have Don do that, and have, to make a deal with it. We know how that is. Like, hey, if I do this for you,
I don't hate that, Jordan. I think you're using your noodle noggin there, where you say I got to make a deal with the devil to get back to the AEW World Heavyweight Championship title picture. And the last time I was there was with Don Callis. I don't hate that. So brain rattling in that dome of yours.
Don Callis he has a champion, but he needs an AEW World Champion. He has champions, and I think that's what the purpose of the Don Callis family is.
Could Kenny use Don and then just be like, thanks, see ya? Like Don had used him in the past,
but that's the intrigue, right? And that's where I think but I don't know what they do. Again, I think a lot of people like the idea of Hangman on the chase. I don't know what they do.
And to that point, I like Max as your champion. I think Max is better as a champion.
Great heel champion.
Yeah, than he is chasing. And for me, Max dropping the championship and then getting a rematch at Dynasty, maybe a multi-man match, and him winning it back, or even a singles match, works for me. Just as long as Hangman Page is not a foregone conclusion and he cannot challenge the world championship.
Do we run the risk of, we're just going to give Hangman a run just to get out of this stupid ass stipulation?
Well, I mean, Jordan, all right, I'll play devil's advocate here with you, and then we're going to move on. How do you book Hangman for the next 18 to 20 months?
Without being able to challenge.
Well, yeah, right.
Okay, without being able to challenge?
Yeah. And to talk about someone to put in the chat, there is no Casino Gauntlet win. There is no Owen Hart win.
You can't do it.
You can't enter it.
I would no. You, and I know you hate this idea, but you use him to elevate other championships. I know you hate that idea of bringing someone down to elevate something else up.
I don't hate it. It's just the fact that the ultimate goal in professional wrestling
should be the world
is the world championship. I thought when Cody did it, it was dumb, but Cody had a plan clearly, and he was an
yeah. He knew what he was doing.
I don't think this is Hangman Page saying, "Yeah, you know what? In 2028, I'm gonna pack my bags and go to the WWE." I don't see it.
Yeah, no, well, because if he's looking for that Cody moment, he had it here in Texas last year. So that when he opened up that break, I was there. We were there. All of us were there. It was loud.
I'm all for new faces challenging and winning the World Heavyweight Championship. But at the end of the day, you got to have some real established players to pass that equity. MJF's one. Mox has already done that. Swerve would be a big one. Omega and Hanger. And we could do a tree, and then you could start passing the equity to a Fletcher, a Kevin Knight, a Takeshita, a Hook, whomever, when the time's right, or these guys get more established, or they get more over, et cetera, et cetera. You can't, if you eliminate, I'm not going to call Hangman Page a pillar, but if you start eliminating, because I mean, he kind of is, but if you start eliminating these guys who are your former world champions, and you're going to pigeonhole them into a secondary championship, and they're going to, man, I want to fight you for the second best championship, not the top, because I'm not top guy material. I'm only second best, baby.
And not only
it's
that,
wrestling. That's two. It's wrestling.
And not only that, I put myself in this position by saying, if I don't win, I can't challenge. So I'm a dumbass, and I'm fighting for the secondary title. This is
professional wrestling. Like, everyone wants to be the world heavyweight champion. They either want to do that, or they want to make a lot of money, or they want to do both. All of a sudden, you're going to tell me, you want to know what? I'll wrestle for free, and I don't want to fight for the championship. Cool, bro. I'm so invested in that character. Let's go. Like, no. Like, no.
Yeah, no. Again,
when it comes down to it, I think just AEW on pay-per-view, I kind of just, not blind faith, but I have faith that they're going to pull out some sort of finish to this match that is going to satisfy, the need of having whatever happen, and, the fans will be satisfied with it.
As I'm sitting here yelling about professional wrestling, I thought of something. Maybe Joe comes back and screws Hangman or screws MJF, because MJF took the championship away from Joe, and Joe never even got a rematch.
Don't hate that.
Joe's from Cali.
If he's available, yes.
Yeah. All right, Joe, what are you going to say? Sorry.
I was going to say something else that happened last night. The women's tag titles. It seems that there may have been a change in the match. I don't know if the finish was supposed to go the other way, but looks like Penelope Ford has injured herself. So hopefully a speedy recovery.
Best wishes and a full recovery to whatever that injury may be.
But it seems like they may have gone another way. So what do you guys think? Babes of Wrath retained? Was Mega Bad supposed to win the titles? I don't know. I think those, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. It's an interesting situation in terms of how things played out. Normally, like we saw on WWE Monday Night Raw, when Bronson Reed got hurt, they pivoted to Jey Uso winning that match for the Chamber qualifier. So normally when you get this type of thing, it seems as if, all right, let's get because they're a champion. Let's get the champions to retain by hook or crook, and then we'll figure out what we need to figure out, see if the injury is that bad. So I don't think this is against the grain or the norm, but an interesting situation, nevertheless, that we are going to pay attention to. So thank you for bringing that up, Jordan. And I just want to revert back to the Hangman Swerve thing, or Hangman MJF thing, for 1 second. This is, if you look at this because a lot of people like to compare this to sports, and they want this to be the sport of professional wrestling, and wins and losses matter. Think about it from this perspective. Let's just say the Kansas City Chiefs want to go play the New England Patriots in week 17. And they say, you want to know what? If I lose this game, the Patriots say, if I lose this game to Kansas City Chiefs, I can never challenge for the Super Bowl ever again. You'll be like, what are we doing here? No, stop it. It's pro wrestling. We don't need this crap. And I don't want Hanger to lose
a couple Sundays from now or Saturday, whatever it is. And I don't want them to sit back and be like, well, technically he was screwed, so he could get a rematch. And if he loses this one, then he's done. No, we're good. It's a Texas death match. I want blood, guts, and I don't want any like convoluted on. No, he could still challenge. So just me.
No.
Just me. Jordan and Juice, let's close on Dynamite. I thought Swerve was a highlight. I thought Gabe Kidd, I thought Moxley, and I thought Kevin Knight all had a fantastic showing on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. Your thoughts, Jordan, and then Juice?
I thought Swerve was the highlight for me. I thought his whole promo, how they shot it, what he talked about, the promo itself was fantastic. Gabe, I'm a Gabe Kidd shooter now. Gabe Kidd is great. Again, seeing him, like, once you watch him live, the energy that he brings to a building is amazing. Love their work that they're doing. Shout out Darby Allin. I think the team of Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy is going to be an entertaining one. A great solid episode, something to keep you looking forward to Revolution. Not necessarily on the go home yet. We're gearing up for the go home. So yeah, another solid episode of Dynamite.
Now, are we limiting this to those who you brought up, Drew?
No, you talk about whatever you want. Listen, I thought Swerve's promo was great. I thought Nana is best served as a heel. I loved when he came out and did what he did. Swerve's promo was great too. But for me, I just kind of gave you my quick hits. So you talk about whatever you want.
Yeah. So, and I brought up before that I don't even think Swerve is a traditional heel necessarily. He's just elevating his character as being willing to do whatever it takes to get back to the top. And I like that Nana, whether he's a heel or not, is in lockstep with Swerve in that character. No matter how he leans, he's right there with Swerve. That's what managers do. And it's like a throwback, which I really like. He's always going to support his client and friend. They're closer than just manager and wrestler. And even before the show, hearing that there was the match called Mile High Madness, I was very intrigued by that name. And I didn't know what the hell I was going to see. And then it was practically a smaller version of Anarchy in the Arena. And damn it, was it entertaining. Yeah. I thought,
how do you hate Baltimore being playing?
I thought Myron Reed's cutter from the ramp. What the hell was going on? The Rascals seem to be a very solid fit on this roster.
You can always tell when Tony goes back and watches some old ECW stuff.
You can. His homages never end. There's always something, a little piece of music here, a little in-ring thing there. And I just, again, if you would have told me it was going to be like Anarchy in the Arena, I'd have said, oh, great, I'm excited. But I like that it was just Mile High Madness 5-on-5. We really didn't know what it meant. And then it turned into just chaos to end the show. Sometimes that's when wrestling is great. It doesn't have to be so damn polished all the time.
All right. Organic. I don't think.
Yes.
Here. This show is 100% organic. All right.
Your camera is 100% blurry.
Well, it's trying to focus. There it is.
Yeah, it's got to focus. Says the vitamin water guy.
There you go.
Yeah, all right. You're just saying what I'm drinking. I don't know how that deals with.
Here's an old trick. You never talk about what you're drinking or whatever it is.
Don't ask me what's in my cup, Jordan.
Well, no, you don't. If you want the sponsorship, you can't be sitting back plugging it with no paid advertising.
That's right.
So,
oh yeah, no, yeah. we're payola over here. Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
This is my bottle. Whatever's in my bottle, I'm going to drink.
There you go.
No matter what
It's in my cup. Yeah. I know your reference, Juice. I'll pick up your reference.
You talked about being polished. Okay,
Yeah.
Not everything needs to be polished, and I put out a tweet talking about how I think the AEW's main event scene potentially is the most stacked it's ever going to be. And I believe that this is the best it's been since it's an inception. And that is of AEW. The main event scene I put out obviously has its mainstays, which were your guys like Omega, Moxley, Swerve, Hangman Page. Let me see the other names I threw out here, just so I'm not missing anybody. MJF, Brody, Mox, Omega, Ospreay, Swerve, Knight, Fletcher, Kidd, Takeshita, Bandito, Hook, and Hangman. And I said that they would be set for a very long time. Now, I would say a good amount of these talents are under 35. Hook, Takeshita, Kid, Fletcher, Knight. I don't know if Will Ospreay's over 35. I'd have to look that up, but we'll see. A lot of people came for my neck when it came to Hook and Kid. But
Ospreay is 32.
Boy, they came at you for being. You see the hate I get every day for being a Hook fan?
Whatever.
You said Hook, they was coming at your neck.
That's fine. That's fine. Listen, here's the thing about Hook.
Well, first of all, I do want to mention before we even talk about Hook, you put Roosh in there and then deleted it and then had to put in Bandito. So
well, I had Roosh in there, but I was like, you want to know what? Because I was very high on Roosh, and I still
he
am.
Was very prominently featured as well.
Did you notice that, bro?
But I was like, you want to know what? I was like, with Roosh, I was like, I don't know if they're going to utilize him. I think they should, but I don't know if they're ever going to like bring him to this.
It almost seems like the time, like they had a chance to strike when the iron was hot with him.
Yes,
and it just seems like maybe that time has passed.
I think you guys are not seeing the CMLL summer that I'm seeing. The partnership.
Well, that's very fair. That could still happen, but either way, let's talk about Hook.
I love how there was also this one idiot who's like, you put no minorities on this list. I was like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, the Takeshita is from where?
From right here in Texas. You ain't know that?
Where's Brodito from? Right here in New York. Like, what are we talking about here?
Come on,
Swerve. I was like, okay, whatever. Anyways, so I was just like, this is absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, they were talking about Hook and they were coming for my neck about Hook, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. What's funny about this is that Hook's been in the business for 3 to 4 years, okay, in my opinion. And he's very unique in terms of character, in terms of what he does, in terms of the collaborations that he's doing. Hook hasn't even scratched the surface, in my opinion, of what he's going to do. I feel the same way about Kid. I also feel the same way about Kevin Knight. I think Kevin Knight is fantastic in the ring and is getting to showcase that. Hook is different sells. If you're the same cookie cutter bullshit that everybody sees week in and week out, you're never going to get over. And for everybody sitting back saying, no, Hook, what in a year from now, if Hook's the TNT champion or he's flirting in the AEW main event scene, he's already had a world championship opportunity to Samoa Joe, which was one of the highest rated segments of Dynamite for a very long time. I would not be surprised. This is a young and a established list. The other thing that drives me nuts is the people on social media who say, Hook's garbage. Bro, I would love for you to get into a ring across the way is Hook, and you tell him to his face that he's garbage. You wouldn't last 20 seconds in the ring with any of these people, let alone a D1 athlete, okay? So, and here's a comparison I'll give. His father, Taz, one of my favorite ECW wrestlers of all time, right? Let's talk about that for a second. Was Taz great on the mic? No, he was not. And he knows it, and I would tell him that. I don't talk to the man, but if I would tell him that, okay? Taz was not great on the mic. What was great about Taz? Taz was believable. Taz got in the ring, and I thought he was going to kill somebody. I truly believe it, and he had aura. He had mystique. He was different. Towel, music, look, the wrestling, everything was different. Hook's different. Hook is, in my opinion, better than his father ever was on the microphone, and Hook hasn't even done a lot in terms of speaking. The man didn't speak for, I think, his first 2 years in the business. Let's give Hook some time, okay? I'm not sitting here saying he should be the world champion right now, because then you could come for my neck. Jordan,
how much time, Drew? Because he, to your point, he's been there for decent amount of time.
How about Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns came up.
I was about to say, like, can we stop putting, like, I hate this idea of, like, we like to, sports and sports entertainment are not the same. Stop putting rookie quarterback expectations on wrestlers. Like, oh, if they're not good in the first 2 years, 3 years of me seeing them, they're garbage.
This is not, and to Jordan's point, this isn't like they drafted him like Travis Hunter, the Jacksonville Jaguars did, number 2 overall, and all of a sudden he's dropping passes, he's not picking balls off, he's hurt the first 2 years. Then you start to sit back and you said, all right, we might have missed on this guy. television time equity is something that every promoter has to give to get these stars over, and then it's on them. Hook's also not a politician, from what I've heard. Hook doesn't go back and politic and try and get airtime and everything else like that. It seems like Hook just minds his own business, does his thing, goes to the ring, cuts his promos, whatever he needs to do, and he's not there sitting there shaking hands, kissing babies, and politicking and sneaking people. So that goes hand in hand with the wrestling business. Go ahead.
No, do you think that though not that he had peaked, he has so much more left in his career, but do you think that his time as TNT champion might have come too early to where you've seen the potential, not fleshed out, but you could see how good he was so quickly, and now it seems maybe just lack of TV time, he's kind of meddling and he's not at a point where, other than the trio stuff, but yeah. I think to your point, if you want to get to that next step, be a single star, you gotta get out there.
All right, so let me ask you a question, the both of you. Do you think, because I made the comparison, and I made it because people were shitting all over Dominic Mysterio when he first came up, kids trash, this and that. Now he's probably top 3 heels in the business, top 4 heels in the business right now, okay? Fans love him. Could you imagine Hook behind the WWE machine? He'd be probably right where Dom is, if not slightly under.
They would throw him in orange. They would make references to Taz.
But do you think that's a bad thing necessarily? Because Hook has a very Taz aura, and I don't think it would be a bad thing if they leaned into that even more under the WWE banner.
Because I want to do a singlet.
Because no, you don't have to do a singlet. You could do the look, but what I'm saying is like Dom Mysterio didn't come in and just become Rey Mysterio's son. If anything, he flipped and he's more Eddie Guerrero and became his own character.
Hold on. Let's not play revisionist history. Let's not play revisionist history. If you look
at the start, he was not.
What do you mean? They wore Batman and Robin gimmicks.
He's saying at the start, Dominic Mysterio was Rey Mysterio light.
Okay. At the start, he was not. At the beginning of the whole thing, he was very just not what he is now. He was never.
He was very much Rey Mysterio's kid. Yes,
and it didn't work, right? Because the fans were like, "I don't want Rey light. I want a unique character in Dom," and that's what he did. The same thing, in my opinion, goes for Hook. I think. If Hook started coming out with the cut towel and put it over his head and was like very much Taz light, I don't like it. And Hook's his own man, and he's going to get over as his own man. Now, they did the Taz Association already.
What if he took his dad saying to survive if I let you, type of deal? Like, what if he started doing
it out on his? The kid already has so much on his own. Did Randy Orton come out with a cast every week? Like his old man?
That is a deep cut. Oh my God.
Oh, like I'm just saying, like, you got to let these kids shine. You wanted to lend credibility towards him. You did that very much so by the programs he was in. The Team Taz thing. He wrestled Jericho. Joe. If people really want to look at the potential of Hook, go watch him. And I believe it was Fletcher at the Hammerstein Ballroom. It was nuts.
Well, so then what do you think needs to change, Drew? Is it TV time? Is it opportunity? What is it? And who makes that call? Because if he's not figured into plans, like at a point, he was doing what you can compare to Dom again. Dom, how did he elevate? By turning heel, right? On the people that were with him, and he aligned and became with the Judgment Day. And if Hook, at one point when Hook was saying, like, I'm the leader of the ops now, if there was a way for him to maybe have that thing with Joe and then turn on Joe, although Joe's not he's a heel kind of
right.
Anyway, if you get that type of edge, an extra edge to the Hook character when he's already edgy enough being this Mystique type of guy, I think that could help. You need something other than like, listen, I know you promote that he's like an athlete, but like that is bland. You need more. In the ring, you can prove that he's a great athlete, but his character can't just be, I'm a great athlete. I don't think that's going to translate as well. When you're a unique guy like Hook,
a career out of it.
He's not Kurt Angle. He's not an Olympic gold medalist.
You are.
He was a lacrosse player. So unless you're going to make him a lacrosse guy, I'm just saying,
a lacrosse guy.
You were saying names, and I'm saying is not the same type of comparison. I'm saying if you want to use his athleticism to his advantage, that's great, and he can utilize that in ring. But I don't think his character should be like that's how you define his character. He should have more of a uniqueness because he is a unique guy. He isn't like his dad, you know.
Yeah.
His theme musics have always been cool. Like he's got a different vibe about him, and I just don't know if like he's a division whatever, and I don't think that's enough for a guy like Hook. He's bigger than that. Is what I'm getting at.
Well, I think what it does is you're right. He can't just rest on that he was a D1 athlete, but I mean,
that only goes so far.
Well, I mean, listen, being a Division I athlete is an accomplishment in its own. Like people come for AJ Francis's neck about being he's a terrible wrestler, this and that stuff, and he was garbage football player. The dude played in the NFL. Like, do you know how hard it is to play in the NFL? I'm not telling you AJ is the quintessential next WWE first ballot Hall of Famer, 16-time champion. Okay, so he's not what you or anybody else deems a great professional wrestler. Fine. But you can't tell me AJ Francis isn't an athlete, because he is. And you're right, that only goes so far. I am agreeing with that. But I don't think we should just sit back and be like, oh, you're a D1 athlete. Cool. Half of these people critiquing him can't even swing a wiffle ball bat.
Sure.
Let alone.
I'm just saying, what do you do with that then? Because all that you have,
give him some time. And people are like, he's had 3 years. All right. Has he been on his own for 3 years? No. If we're having the same conversation in 2 years from now, I'll sit back and tell you, all right, you know what? I was wrong. Here, I'll give you one I was wrong with. I thought when Brian Pillman Jr. went to NXT, I thought they would do wonders with him, and they haven't. And maybe that's on the talent. Maybe it's on NXT. Maybe it's on the people. I don't know. But I thought Brian Pillman Jr. was a shoo-in to be a very good NXT talent. I thought Brian was very unique in certain aspects and another second-generation star. But I will tell you that I'm not going to sit here and just constantly hammer the Hook stuff, but Hook's different. And in this industry, you need to be different. And I can tell you this right now, because I know it for a fact. WWE and the people that are in charge right now are very, very high on Hook. So if these people want Hook, and I'm saying that Hook should be in the main event scene, the AEW in a couple years, maybe I'm onto something. Maybe I'm an idiot.
And look,
maybe I'm not.
I would love to see, with the fact that we have two companies at a high level, that we can figure out what one person can do here and one person can do there. Will it get watered down here or elevated there? I would love to see Hook in WWE in some way. And look, people will take this negatively. I think Hook would thrive in a place like NXT. I said the same thing about Wardlow. I think some of these guys might need a little extra polish, not fully polished like I critiqued earlier, but like a little extra character work and build off of what you are, not just be the son of someone or just an athlete. Elevate that. There's so much more to these characters that I think might not be tapped into, especially when you only have 4 hours of programming.
Sure. And I like Graps. The gap between normal people and AJ Francis is 10 times larger than AJ Francis and Myles Garrett.
Yeah, it's like the thing. It's like what did Scalabrini say?
Myles Garrett is a once in a generational talent. AJ Francis made the NFL. Okay, I was a very good athlete. I'm not the athlete AJ Francis was, or is. I'm not. The gap is huge between a semi-pro, very, very good collegiate talent to a pro. Making a roster on the NFL pro. It's insane. Yeah. It's insane. Absolutely.
Yeah, the gap is large. Yeah.
And I'll never discredit that. Some of my favorite wrestlers of all time were D1 guys, football guys, and that's not to disparage anything. I just never want a company to rest on the laurels of what they did back when, unless it's directly like Brock Lesnar was an NCAA champion wrestler. So like, you're going to make that part of him and his character, because that's really who he is. But like Goldberg was a football player and they kind of played off that initially and stuff. But like you're
right. It only goes so far. You got to connect with the crowd. You got to make things work in the ring. And I understand what you're saying. I just, again, the Gabe Kidd stuff, I think Gabe's unique as well. I think that I like Finley. I like David Finley. What, people going to come for my neck on that too? I think he's different. Kevin Knight, I think, is very, very good. People want to come for my neck on that. Like, you got to start looking at wrestling if you really want to be somebody with an actual voice, or somebody's like, okay, this guy or girl gets it. You could have the reaction streamers. There's that market for that, and I think they do well. It's not my game. But if you want to start looking at this from a quote unquote athletic perception, and you want to look at things and be like, okay, I think this guy's got that and this girl's got that. Julia Hart, Hook. These are people I believe could be a force in the wrestling industry, especially in AEW. People in the chat keep bringing up Britt Baker. Listen to me when I tell you this, okay? Britt Baker will never be on AEW television in 2026, and I don't think she'll ever be on TV in AEW ever again. Okay, we could stop. I don't see Britt Baker being back in AEW ever again, and I'll leave it at that.
As much as I would like it, because I think she would be a nice, just injection to the division.
It would have already happened. I don't see Britt Baker ever coming back to AEW, and I think it's mutual.
And that's perfectly fine. And as someone who has worked with Britt Baker before and has done shows with her before, I want her to just be the best person she can be, whether it's in the pro wrestling industry or not. Because I don't think the pro wrestling industry defines anybody, especially when you've got other abilities and talents. You do what you got to do to keep yourself going. And pro wrestling's not it, or AEW, whatever.
I said it a year ago, Juice, and that was very well said. I said, I wish Britt the best in whatever she does next, but I do not believe it will be with All Elite Wrestling. And I still stand by that. If Britt wants to go do something in WWE, God bless her. If she wants to stay at home and go do something in what she does is being a dentist, God bless her. Like these people live normal lives. Speaking of that, let's transition. AJ Styles wants to go live a normal life. It seems wants to be a father, wants to get out of professional wrestling and the in-ring stuff with World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. We had a segment on Monday Night Raw, which Juice at the top of the show was tongue-in-cheek and was poking fun at one bald, bearded, handsome man myself about my Undertaker and Gunther pictures. They were side by side, and it was a little bit of a teaser. I like to have fun on Twitter, social media. That's what it's all about. Drew loves to be vague, and then also kind of critiques people for being vague. So I don't critique people for being vague. I don't.
Vague posting.
I feel like you've mentioned it before. You might have mentioned it before.
Somebody said, tell me they're having a match at WrestleMania. And I said, I don't think that's the case. I will tell you that, again, from what I was told, they were kicking around an interaction. I asked if it was okay if I posted it. They said, sure, go for it. The interaction did not happen. It is what it is. Did I care? No. After Monday Night Raw, I had a fun time in my bed. I won't leave it at that. I didn't sit on social media and be like, oh man, like these people are going to hate. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't care. I don't care. I had a fun time with my wife. I won't leave it at that.
As a matter of fact, Drew was up all night.
What I will say is that, you run the risk, and I've said this a million times, you run the risk when you post something like that people are going to take it out of context. People are going to run with it. The Bad Bunny Logan Paul one I did is because I do believe those two will have some sort of match or interaction in a WWE ring. The Gunther Undertaker thing, let me clarify. Sure. I do believe that the Saudis want Taker to be a part of WrestleMania 42 in Saudi Arabia. Gunther seems like a very, very solid choice and opponent for him there. There was no indication from my end that Taker would wrestle at WrestleMania 41. And the more and more I look at The Undertaker, I don't think he's ever wrestling again. Okay.
I hope not.
But let's talk about what we saw. Taker came to the ring after they did the whole signature closing, and my son looked at me, and I kept him up because I truly didn't know what was going to happen. I had DM'd somebody and said, I know the WWE is kicking around putting AJ in the Hall of Fame because me and this person, who's a very well-known wrestling personality, he is somebody who has a ton of followers and he will remain nameless, who has very deep connections and works directly with WWE. He's a solid dude. I said they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame, and he was like, yeah, this and that. And I was like, I don't know about the AEW stuff, which we'll get to in a second. But when Taker's gong hit came out, and then he said, me and you have unfinished business, my son looked at me and he said, oh man, he's going to wrestle again? And I thought to myself, which was a good hook. Taker very much quickly got to the point, but it was a good moment where I was like, whoa. I thought the segment came off very well. Obviously, AJ was surprised, number one. Number two, what did you guys make of their whole signature closing where it's like, oh, this is it, and then they continue on, and then Taker comes out? What did you guys make of the segment here before we go?
Juice, go ahead.
I thought it was a great segment. this is why I tweeted what I did, which was I said WWE is giving AJ Styles a more impactful retirement send-off than they did for John Cena. And in that realm, and you know, not even trying to make a pun of impactful, but you know, that works without me even trying, which is, you know, it is what it is. But when you look at John Cena's whole last year, just plainly, and not without criticism, because I quite enjoyed the last half, especially with the matches. But for lack of a better term, it was, oh, there's only so many dates left. This is it. And some people could be critical in the heel term, which, you know, maybe not his fault, didn't work out to the best of their ability. But the last match, a lot of people had a problem with. And if you notice, what happened in Gunther's final match with AJ, or AJ Styles' final match with Gunther, that didn't happen with John Cena's final match with Gunther? John Cena tapped out. AJ Styles did not. And a lot of people thought it should have been reversed, right? And they did the little, here's the 2 world title belts because you're the old guy, hold them up, even though you didn't win them. And you look at this video package, they gave AJ Styles Creed, they gave him Abyss, all these TNA guys they brought out of the woodwork. They brought back Air Paris from WCW. His tag
John didn't want any of this.
Congratulations, you played yourself. This was a more impactful retirement for WWE to give to AJ Styles. And I thought it was brilliantly done. And then to tack on at the end, Taker comes out and who's had his final match with AJ Styles, gives him the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Like, hey, you're going to the Hall of Fame. The perfect utilization.
John's not going into the Hall of Fame this year. So what are you going to leave? You're going to do the whole leave the memories alone with John Cena? They did that on Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, and it was awkward, and the fans hated it, and everybody loved what happened here. I'm just saying, if roles were reversed, this would have been way better suited for a guy like John Cena. It ended up being for AJ Styles, and I think this is more memorable than Cena's last run with like this last little run.
Listen, you're entitled to your opinion, and I respect you for it. But John had a year-long retirement thing. AJ literally sprung this on the WWE Universe like what, a month into it, and then they brought him back to do the appreciation night to put him in the Hall of Fame. I guarantee you that if John Cena was going to go into the Hall of Fame this year, didn't they announce Stephanie going into the Hall of Fame at John? No, was it at John Cena or was it another Saturday night's main event?
I think it was either another Saturday night's main event.
A little bit before.
Yeah, it was some other.
They would have brought John back for a Raw and tacked it onto his dates, and they would have announced it and said, we're going to have John Cena Appreciation Night. But the whole selling point for DC was John Cena's final match and his retirement and everything.
I agree. And no one's disputing the fact that Cena is a bigger star in the pantheon of WWE. So if
they gave John Cena Creed, you would have been okay with the whole John Cena thing?
I'm just saying, well, sure. I think that if John Cena would higher.
No, for John.
I don't know what the hell they gave him. It was everybody was focused on the booze and it being awkward that they were just standing in the ring. I'm just saying how everything happened with AJ Styles should have been what they gave to John Cena. To me, it was just like, oh, there's only so many dates for Cena to be done. Let's hawk merch. Let's hawk this. Let's try to do a heel turn. And it just didn't work out to what they would have probably wanted. And I know Cena would have wanted his own thing, but I just felt this was wholesome. It worked on every level. And AJ Styles had some of his best matches without being, it was in the ether that he might retire this year, right? Only till the very end did we know for sure. But he had a little send-off in Japan last year. Like all these little hints that I think are more meaningful to a guy like AJ Styles than they were to a guy like John Cena. That's all.
So here's what I got from this. Juice, huge Creed fan, hates One Republic.
Oh yeah, One Republic sucks.
Can you take me? No. Last night, I thought not last night, Monday night, I thought it was cool. It was very obvious once you start to put it two and two together, like, oh, it's the main event. Oh, they're in Georgia. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna do a nice little send-off here. Very kind of reminiscent to Ric Flair's send-off, the first one from WWE. I liked it. It was cool. I think they paid off some things. I'll tell you one thing, because you brought them up. I did not like the Abyss part. That was just not a big fan of, because Abyss is very different looking than Joseph Parker. And anybody who knows, it could have just been a nice. I would have liked Joseph Parker to just walk out with like the Abyss mask, a nod to the character that was, to the person that was Abyss. That would have been kind of cool. That's a little bit nitpicky, though.
No, it's not, Jordan. I'm going to stop you right there. It's not. I thought the same thing. I was like, man, what an infomercial for TNA and everything that AJ has done there. And don't get me wrong, they showed Kazarian, they showed Abyss, they showed some other people, but I thought to myself, when John and everybody else retired, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, leave the memories alone, all that stuff. We had kind of individual things, and Taker did have the ending to Rick and AJ. But for me, it would have been nice to see AJ have some sort of interaction and have Abyss and Kazarian kind of walk down, get into the ring, all this other stuff. So I thought it was a little strange that we didn't see more of Abyss.
I think they did some stuff off air that we would have probably, to answer that, would have, lengthened that. But
but I overall, though, I thought the speech that he gave to the crowd was nice. I overall, especially with this kind of news coming out now that he has potentially kind of signed some sort of deal to.
All right, hold on. Yeah, let's talk about this. So there's somebody in the chat right now saying, I need to apologize. What do you want me to apologize for? Being a Jets fan? I do apologize for that because it's brutal. And I told my kids, you don't have to live this life. It's character development, but you don't have to live this life. So if you want me to apologize for being a Jets fan and raising my kids as Jets fans, sure, I'll apologize.
I hope they turn into Bills fans.
Can we cut him?
That's almost even worse.
Can we cut him? At least he didn't say Patriots. What I will say is I never said AJ Styles was going to AEW. And if you listened to any of the stuff I do say and put out, I didn't say AJ was going anywhere, truthfully. Again, I don't know what holds in 2027. I don't even know what holds in 6 months from now. AJ is going to go into the Hall of Fame. He signed a deal with WWE, which I broke before a lot of other people even talked about it on Hannibal's Space yesterday with the Wrestle Collective. I said that AJ was offered a talent agent producer contract. I don't know the terms. I don't know what it's for in terms of money. I don't know the length, everything else like that. But I said AJ is not going anywhere anytime soon. What I will say is 2027 is a big year for All Elite Wrestling. And if AJ is going to make the jump, which I don't know if he can or will or whatnot, I could see that being it when their media rights are set to expire or the new media rights deal is going to happen. That would be something a la, he could be Jericho for them, as I stated on the space, where Jericho came in and kind of really validated and legitimized that company by winning the World Heavyweight Championship before their television deal. It was a big thing. Well, Chris Jericho's over there. All right, let me see who this is. It lends credibility. And AJ Styles doing that would be something I could potentially see. And again, I don't know how many people are going to pass up $5, $6, $7, $8, $9 million for 1 year. And I don't know if that's Tony, what he's going to offer, but I could tell you right now that Tony Khan is going to be very interested in AJ Styles, just like every other major promoter would be that owns a wrestling company. So, the one thing I will say about this, though, that's very interesting to all the people that want to sit back that I don't see anybody discussing. If AJ wanted to be All Elite, I think he would have already. I truly believe that. He's had 3 opportunities to be in AEW. So for all the people who are like, diehard WWE, you're going to love this, because I don't think AJ Styles, truthfully, is going to end up in AEW. And why I say that is because he had a chance in 2019 and didn't go. And that's fine. You kind of want to see what this company's made of, the sticking power, how they're going to do things, whatever. He had another chance when his contract expired, I believe in 2023, and he turned, or 2024, and he turned that down as well. And now we're heading into the 3rd time that AJ Styles could have been All Elite, and he's not. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I know this for a fact, but I think it's interesting that 3 of his closest friends work in All Elite Wrestling, and he's not there. And is that because friends talk, players talk. A lot of the perception around the league right now about the New York Jets is don't come here if you speak to some people. It's not where you want to be. Look at Breece Hall, Jermaine Johnson, all these guys. Listen, I will tell you this right now. I hope this gets clipped, and I hope it gets saved forever. In 4 to 5 years, when the Jets are doing what they're supposed to be doing, because the GM is doing a very good job, he's getting rid of the people that don't want to be there. He's acquiring talent, draft picks, et cetera, et cetera. When the Jets are on top of the AFC, You do not want to hear from me because I will be insufferable. Anyways,
I mean, top of the AFC in week 1 or
week 1, week 0.
Listen here, Cowboys fan.
I don't
listen here, Cowboys fan. Listen here, Steelers fan. Your quarterback situation is brutal, and I love
dog shit.
All right. We'll move off of that because we're talking. I'm just saying it's very interesting that Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are some of AJ's closest friends, and he wants. And I understand your child, your son wants to be a wrestler, and WWE would probably be it is the right place to go and craft and learn and everything else like that. But maybe his friends are saying, hey, bro, I don't know if you should come here. And I'm not saying I know this, but people talk. This isn't the same place it was, blah, blah, blah. You never know. And I don't know that. I don't feel that. But I'm just saying it's very interesting that AJ's had more than 2 opportunities to become all elite, and he just hasn't. And granted, the first time I probably wouldn't have either. And maybe he just wants to be a WWE lifer. I get it. But for me, I just think there's a little bit more to it. I think that maybe the Young Bucks, when their deal is up, aren't going to be in AEW past this.
And I look at AJ Styles. I view him in the same way as I do Kevin Owens, where both Kevin Owens and AJ Styles are as AEW coded as you could be. Like the Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles in TNA were like the perfect prototype for what AEW is. And unfortunately for AEW, these guys have done that, and now they're in WWE and have gotten to do a lot of stuff in WWE for both of them, including major WrestleMania matches and longevity and stability, to where I think they're more than fine, even with their friends. A lot of the same friends are doing great stuff. Yeah, they are more than fine being comfortable in WWE and kind of closing it out there.
And to that point, and I'll let you finish, but I think you made a really good point. Tony Khan, if he had his pick of 3 guys in WWE right now that absolutely fit everything that he loves about professional wrestling, it's Styles, Owens, and Zayn, in my opinion, just because of the past and the lineage and everything else like that. And I've said this a million times. If Tony had 3 picks of talent that he could have froze in terms of like when they're at their peak and bring over to AEW right now, it's probably Brett, Taz, and Angle.
Yeah.
So you understand where I'm drawing the parallels here? Like it's like AJ fits.
And he had Danielson for the last little bit there. He had Punk, and Punk did do good stuff in AEW until the end. Like he's had these legacy Ring of Honor guys and these PWG guys, and it just makes sense that he would want a lot of these other guys that have gone through those channels. He's got the Young Bucks. He's got all these other guys that have been through Ring of Honor. So, it makes sense that he would want those other guys as well. But unfortunately for him, they seem to be pretty stable in WWE.
One thing, and Andrew, when we talked about this the other day personally, I think there's another side of this that we may want to look at. Because there are certain guys who just really like the structure that WWE brings, right? There's a certain level, Jade Cargill said it, Royce Keys has said it, Ricky Saints has said it, like Alexis King has said. They've all, a lot of these guys who have jumped ship from A to B have said they really like the professionalism and the structure. And I think AJ Styles is a guy, for all intents and purposes, has already been with AEW. Let me explain. Walk with me.
And I know where you're going, but I think this furthers my point here with the whole Young Bucks, Kenny, maybe Punk, Cody telling AJ, hey, I don't think you want to go there, man. It's a free for all. That's
again. And so they kind of go hand in hand, because he's already been there with and dealing with a young upstart, maybe a little bit eclectic owner in Dixie Carter. He already had that, and the upstart with the young TNA days. So he's kind of already been there, done that. So I can understand where he's like, I like the fact that like I ain't got to worry about travel. And I'm not saying that AEW has to worry about travel or anything like that.
Sure.
I'm not putting it out there, but like when you're in a more corporatized, a larger conglomeration, so to speak, pun intended, I guess, some of those things are kind of just like, second you don't really have to worry about them. They're more accustomed to you. So I could see someone liking that more structure. That hey,
100%.
I don't have to think, I don't have to worry.
Right.
I just show up at my call time, and my day is done and made for me.
He's done, and I said this before. He's done the little engine that could already. He want, and I've talked to people and they're like, why does he want to play for the Rays when he could play for the Yankees? And I'm like, okay, I understand that. But I do think that just like everybody else, I mean, you saw LeBron, you saw all these other people want to play with their friends, all this other stuff. You'd have to figure that maybe AJ does want to have a little bit of a run, but or
also, I think we also learned in playing with your friends sometimes don't always work.
You're right. And that was my next point. It doesn't always lead to where you think.
When Wade came in and played for the Cavs, that was terrible.
And I also want to say I am not saying that AEW is not big league, but it's the timing of, had AJ Styles gotten out of like the New Japan realm at the beginning of 2019, he could have had the Mox Dean Ambrose spot.
Oh, yeah.
He could have been in AEW from the beginning, but because it was 3 years after he had already been in WWE, he was already in there and has gotten world championships and had really made a name for himself in WWE, only in 3 years being there. Otherwise, I could easily have seen him thrust right into that scene, and that could have been, all she wrote. I mean, AJ, again, tailor-made for AEW, I think, AJ Styles, but they got plenty of talent, as we've been talking about all show. So I don't think they really need him necessarily.
No, they don't necessarily need him, but would he be a great, addition?
Incredible.
Sure.
Give me AJ Styles and Will Ospreay.
I'll put it to you like this in regards to, because I'm seeing things in the comments in regards to what he said. Wrestlers lie.
Oh, sure.
A lot. Let's just keep that in mind. Like he may say this and he may feel it today. He may feel it tomorrow even.
Sure. That's the other thing too, Jordan. It's like, he signed a contract. I don't know how long the contract's for, if it's through December, the end of the year, whatever. But I mean, everything changes when there's a huge check in front of you and you've sat back and said, I'm not going to wrestle.
When you hear the beeping of a Brinks truck pulling up to your driveway, you kind of tend to think differently. So,
what's this question? I still don't understand why Cody left or what went down, why he left. Well, Cody will have to tell you that, and I'm sure he will as time goes on. But I could personally tell you that when they started to lose their EVP status, it almost became a thing of, I'm just a wrestler here, so why not go be a wrestler where I've always really wanted to make it, and that's WWE. And I do believe that one of the major points for Cody to sit back and say, all right, I'm out of here, was, I believe he asked for what someone who was on the roster at the current time was making in terms of dollar amounts. And I believe the answer he received was less than flattering. And I think that's not your market value. And that's why he decided to leave. And there's some light to this, because I believe in Cody's documentary that they did on WWE, it was Peacock. In his trailer, there's a post-it note that says market value. And I'm going to tell you that I believe that has everything to do with remembering they didn't believe in your market value is what it is. So,
well, and it's just proving yourself. That's how AEW was founded in the first place,
Yeah, but like, man, I hate Cody. Let me not get on my Cody soapbox, because Cody's a politician, and he said, and he knows
majority of them are, dude.
You know what
well,
I'm saying?
Like you just said, Jordan, you said they all lie too, so they're very political. That's what I'm saying.
He's a silver-tongued devil, and like, look, he can try to rewrite history. Yes, he is. You can try to rewrite history all you want, but you created the Codyverse. You did that yourself. You created your own market value, because you can't sit here and tell me that when there's people like Chelsea Green who took 30 seconds and exponentially raised her market value.
What I mean by this is I think Cody had felt that he was at an echelon in AEW where he should be being paid. I'm going to use this for a figure. Let's just say CM Punk was making $5 million a year. Okay. I think Cody said, I want what Punk's got. Kind of like what a lot of the WCW guys were doing. Hogan would say, okay, anybody you bring in, they can't be paid higher than me or I need a match. Right. Whatever the hell it was. And I think Cody was sitting back saying, listen, they're coming out here to see me just as much as they're coming out to see him. So let me get my market value. And I think he went to WWE, and honestly, I think it was the best decision he made.
Oh, no, it was the greatest thing he could have ever done, because in creating AEW, that's fine. That's great. And I will forever appreciate Cody for that. But I think he also realized that, like, oh man, I'm not cut out. I don't think I'm cut out for the fan base that is for AEW. And that's just that,
Yeah. All right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole purpose of an alternative.
Sure.
That's the whole purpose of being able to go elsewhere.
No, and it also goes back to the beginning where we said, like, Cody pigeonholed his whole character arc by not being able to challenge for the world title on the first pay-per-view that happened after Dynamite was created.
But Jordan and Juice, do you think that was done on purpose by Cody? I think it was.
Well, of course, how you explained it to me, and how I'll tell you, yes, because that tells me early on he knew what was going on.
100%.
He read the tea leaves. Was like, all right, cool. Let me go ahead and play the long game. Hey, I can't ever challenge for the world title. Oh, why would you do that?
Not to mention, a lot of people thought that Cody was behind this company and was doing all this because he finally wanted to win the World Heavyweight Championship for a company that was never going to make him a champion. So what did he do? He was like, I'm going to make sure that the fans don't believe that I have that type of stroke, and I'm never going to win that world championship. And then when I go do it in WWE, it'll be huge.
Boom. It's like say what you want. Like, winning a championship as a Laker means probably a little bit more than winning it as Milwaukee Buck.
For sure.
I also think it was the negative reaction of the whole Anthony Ogogo, like, weight, like the weigh-in thing, and just like Cody trying to present himself as a character that, quite frankly, wasn't not that in AEW.
Yeah.
And
so to circle back though to AJ, because this is something we talked about last week, and I love keeping continuity within our shows. So I want to go ahead and say, since we did get a Hall of Fame announcement, and that being AJ Styles, I want to say I think it's Danhausen in the box. As we continue on and look towards Elimination Chamber, I want to go ahead and say my prediction for that right now, it is Danhausen.
Would I be correct in the tweet that I put out?
Yes.
Hey.
Might be a premature frog. We don't know. We got to wait till Saturday to find that out.
We got to wait, but that's a nice transition into looking forward into this weekend, fellas.
Juice, you had something to say on the box? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. So one tweet out of 30,000, it's not that bad, Drew.
Ronda Rousey's back in the octagon. That fight's going to happen. I was right on that one. I mean, don't make me hit the frog all goddamn day here. All right. Anyways, let's go to the chamber. Let's go to you, Juice. We'll start with you. Let's talk about CM Punk and Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then we'll go Jordan, and then I'll give my thoughts on this. I like this match. I know a lot of people are talking about how CM Punk could potentially lose this, so it gives a little intrigue and a little twist on the road to WrestleMania. I don't necessarily want to see that, because I think we all know that Punk and Roman is the match they're going with. So even if Finn does win this match, it'll be for naught, because they'll have to give the championship back. What I could see if the box does not have Danhausen in it, I believe this was Hannibal's idea, so I'm not going to steal this in terms of this is my bright idea. The Demon getup in there, if they open the show and they open the box first, I think that would be cool. For me, at least. That would not be a letdown in the box. But Juice, who do you think is going to win this match, and why?
So Finn Balor needs all the help he can get, considering it's CM Punk in Chicago as the World Heavyweight Champion on the road to WrestleMania. So like the odds are clearly stacked against Finn. And I think that not only will Finn not win this match, but I think the guy that you think is comparable to Hook, Dom Mysterio, will get involved, setting up Finn versus Dom at WrestleMania. And maybe that's where we see Demon Balor. I think it's just a match that needs to happen. You can really solidify Finn as a babyface, get more heel. How much more could you get more heat on Dom Mysterio other than having him cost Finn Balor in a world title match?
I like that, Juice. You want to have Dom cost Finn, and then you have a Dom and Finn match at WrestleMania.
Yes,
that's funny because that's exactly where I was going to go. Because if you look at the promo between both of them, the little backstage segment, he told Dom to grow up, right? And what was it, about 3 weeks ago, I said Finn was turning, face. I thought he was, and then they, pulled the old WWE swerve on me, but now I think they're going back to that. And I think Finn is going to turn face via a Dom's not really, he's already heel, but this is going to make him a dastardly heel. It's going to make him even more of a heel.
It's just by default gives Finn that sympathy, and especially in a crowd like Chicago. Hey, you know what? There's another guy that I could have seen in AEW from the start is a Finn Balor, and it played the Danhausen thing with Chicago. I think also is a very obvious connection to where how many shows did AEW run in Chicago?
A
ton of them.
Yeah,
so they will know who Danhausen is. Who is this guy?
I also like how people were like, and this is honest to God, hand to God. My son in the car today, we're driving to school and we're doing our thing and we're doing our words of affirmation and we're thanking God and all this other stuff. And he said to me, he goes, Dad, do you know who's in the box? I said, what are you talking about? He goes, the box on WWE. Do you know who's in it? I said, no, I have no idea. I think it's going to be a wrestler though. And and I thought to myself, they've already got people interested in the box, obviously. But if Danhausen comes out of the box and they don't it's not going to be a letdown because my son's going to be like, okay. And the fans are going to be like, someone will know who it is. And they're going to be like, all right, who is this guy? And truthfully, anybody who comes out of that box is not going to be like this main event level type of stuff. And I'm not trying to downplay Danhausen. But Danhausen's gimmick is not like
he's not a main event type of character. No, but he's locked into that role and he knows where he fits. It's a great role to be in.
Yeah, and they will be taught. My son will be like, "Who is this dude? He's got face paint. He's going to move merch. He'll be fine.
He'll tag team with Mr. Iguana at WrestleMania.
Well, that could be it too.
Let's talk about a part of the DLC. Yeah, for the new game.
Yes.
I say CM Punk retains. Let's talk about the Women's Intercontinental Championship, Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. This one's interesting to me because I never thought we would actually be here in terms of the singles match happening at the Elimination Chamber. I know they needed another type of main event level match. You got two chambers and you got Punk versus Finn. Yes, Roman's not on it. Brock's not in it. I get it. Some of these heavy names are not in it. Fine. No Gunther. I understand. But for me, no Drew McIntyre either. No Jacob Fatu, which is interesting. I thought those two would have a match here as well. I don't know how we get to WrestleMania from this match, and that's a good thing. I thought we'd have some sort of tag match with AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. I thought maybe you'd have, insert this talent and that talent that gets involved in this a little bit. And they did that a little bit, but not enough to warrant a tag match. But something's got to happen in this match because I don't believe AJ can lose here clean and roll on to WrestleMania. And I also don't believe Becky could just get pinned 1, 2, 3 and roll on to a WrestleMania rematch unless this match kicks off the show. Okay. And we get Becky taking out a chamber competitor and winning the chamber. That I could see.
I could see something like that, but I also see a visual of CM Punk and AJ Lee both having titles going into Mania.
For sure. And Jordan, I'm with you. But what I'm saying, they would send the Chicago crowd home happy. like a big old family reunion. They take a backstage photo. You could have Danhausen, Punk, and AJ Lee. Fine. But what I'm saying is, could you see AJ winning this clean 1, 2, 3, and then Becky not getting into the chamber? Because
yes, I can see Becky not getting into the chamber because I don't see Becky challenging for the title. Like, I think she's would try to get back at AJ Lee at the next pay-per-view. I think that.
No, for sure. But I'm just saying, I think that Becky could win the match, the chamber match, and just say, I don't want the world championship. I don't want the WWE championship that Jade holds. I want my rematch with AJ Lee. That's what I want when I win the Elimination Chamber. Like,
that would be a nice that would be a nice change of pace. Sure. You know, because then that opens up still another avenue for another woman for the women's title at Mania.
Yeah, because I think it's Rhea Ripley time in that chamber. But we'll get to that.
You know, so yeah, so you've got, you know, that's another avenue. But I think there's no way that, I mean, whether it's clean or not, I got AJ winning. She's going to walk out again with that title. They want to send the crowd home happy, and the visual of her and her husband, both titles on their shoulders. I think
I look at this from a perspective of how are we going to get to the rematch? How are we going to book 3 months from now, 2 weeks from now, et cetera, et cetera. And I could see this AJ Lee winning. I'm with you. All right. What do we do with Becky and how do we get the rematch at Mania that everyone's going to want? Okay. And you putting Becky in the chamber, let's just say she takes out Rhea Ripley, keeps Rhea strong. She doesn't have to eat a loss at all. And Becky gets put in. And Becky wins. And then she says, I don't want Jade's championship. I want the Intercontinental Championship because that means more to me. That lends a lot of credibility to the Intercontinental Championship. AJ Lee holding it would do that as well. That's just my scenario. I just need to know how we're going to get from what we have right now with this match actually taking place at Chamber and AJ coming out on top to how we get to WrestleMania. Because I'm with you. It would be really tough to have this match end in a DQ in AJ Lee's quote unquote hometown and she doesn't win the championship. Juice?
So I completely disagree with both of you. I think this is very much a part of the whole Chicago thing. I think CM Punk is going to retain, obviously, right? And if Danhausen comes out, I think a lot of the fans that are saying that the fans in the crowd won't even know who he is are going to be wrong because the Chicago fan base that are very familiar with a guy like Danhausen, considering his AEW ties. And then with the AJ Lee match, everybody thinks that AJ Lee is going to win because she's in Chicago. But I think that's exactly why Becky Lynch will find a way, cheat away, steal away to win the match, retain her championship. And then especially if it is in some bizarre way or cheating aspect, they can run that match back at WrestleMania. And that's where you can get AJ to win. You get a lot of heel heat, even more heel heat on Becky when right now, I don't think, I mean, she's doing a fine job. But I really think she needs to get more on her plate as a heel other than just doing the whole, you know, Sports Illustrated says it. She needs to win an important match in a city where she's not supposed to win. It's not her home turf, and I think that's why she will win. And I don't see her going in the chamber. I think it's going to be pretty cut and dry. Winner of the chamber is going after Jade Cargill, and I think that's just how it's going to go. So I think Becky Lynch is going to win this with a lot of heel heat on her because of where it takes place. And then AJ can get that lick back at WrestleMania.
There you go. I mean, listen, works for me. As long as we get the match that I think everyone does want to see at WrestleMania, which is this match. I'm very surprised this match is taking place at the chamber, but I don't hate it. As long as we get to, that's why you watch this. As long as we can get to where we need to get to, I'm here for it. Let's talk about the women's elimination chamber. I made mention of it in my last rant there. I think that Rhea Ripley wins this. I think Rhea continues to get ovation after ovation after ovation after ovation, louder than majority of the males do. And Rhea Ripley getting back into the main event level championships in terms of the women's title there is what they should do. Her going over to SmackDown is an absolute jolt for that brand. And I could see it. I could absolutely see it. So Juice, will go to you first, and then Jordan, who wins this chamber and why? I'm going with Rhea.
I tend to agree. I almost want to pose it as it's either Rhea Ripley or the field because it's tough for me to see the rest of this field getting the match against Jade Cargill. I mean, selfishly, I would like to see someone like a Raquel Rodriguez or Kiana James get this opportunity at WrestleMania. However, because it is WrestleMania, I don't know if they're going to just get to that point so quickly. And I don't think Tiffany or Alexa, Alexa is kind of an outlier. I think she probably ends up maybe going against Charlotte in a best friends one-on-one friendly contest at WrestleMania, which I think would be fun. But ultimately, Rhea and Jade, because I wanted Jade versus Bianca, but that's clearly not going to be able to take place. So Jade versus Rhea Ripley seems to be the best match that they could have.
I think Alexa and Charlotte makes a ton of sense. I'm with you there.
Cool. So yeah, I'd say Rhea or the Field because it seems like it's her match to lose.
Jordan,
I've got Raquel Rodriguez. Honestly,
that'd be dope.
I wouldn't hate it.
I think just having her be a standout, and winning this match. I believe it's her first ever chamber. I want to say too.
Probably.
Yeah, I think it would be different, and again, it still leaves because you said we can have the Charlotte and best friend match. I think that would be, still leaves you an opportunity for that. But I don't know. I think Raquel winning just is something different that we wouldn't be able to. WWE likes to kind of throw, especially with the chamber, sometimes likes to throw like, who do you think's going to win? I think the best who do you think's going to win is this match because you don't really know. Because like you're saying, you said Rhea or the Field, right?
Right.
I got Raquel. Rhea would be nice, but like she's already, a tag champ right now. I don't think we need to see a double champion.
Well, see, this is what I would say. I think Rhea Ripley, to that point, just purely based off that and to what I said, I think you could see Rhea Ripley win the chamber, Rhea and Io lose the tag titles to Charlotte and Alexa, and then they have to go one-on-one as tag champions. And then it's like, wow, well, I guess we have to fight each other, but we're all still best friends and champions.
So many possibilities here for the Elimination Chamber this Saturday in Chicago on ESPN in the United States and Netflix internationally. Let's talk about the men's chamber match. I think this is Cody Rhodes' match to lose. But I would love to see a Randy Orton win here. Jacob Fatu is looming. Are they really going to do a four-way at Mania? Are they going to run back Cody and Drew at Mania in terms of how?
No.
We don't know. But what I will say is I do believe, and we'll have to cue the frog, that Drew, when it happens, that Drew McIntyre is dropping the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. I don't know to whom, but it's very interesting that Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre are not on this card. And it seems like that feud is happening. So if Jacob's involved in the championship title picture and the winner of this chamber is absolutely involved, it seems like we are headed to a multi-man match at WrestleMania. Could they put a big WWE Championship match on SmackDown before Mania? Yeah, they've done it. So I could see it. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to go with Cody, Jordan, and then Juice.
Yeah, this is Cody's match to lose. I mean, I think he said it himself that he's better on the chase. This is one of those monumental chase moments, is winning a match like this, the chamber. I would like to see him do the survival spot in this match, as in start the match, be one of the first two to start and survive the rest of the field. That would garner, because that's the type of babyface that he is anyways. That's what I would really like to see. Of course, we know we're going to get the RKO from Javon Evans jumping off the top and Randy Orton catching him. That's going to be amazing. It's going to be a good match again, but I got Cody. It's Cody's match to lose. Like plain and simple, it's Cody's match to lose.
I tend to agree, and if it is going to be multiple people in that match at WrestleMania, they've found ways to get people inserted into the chamber match to interfere before. So I could see someone making that happen, especially a maniac like Jacob Fatu, and that's all it needs to happen to cost Cody's chance or something. And I really would hate to see this, but I'd hate if they did an Edge Kofi thing with Javon and had maybe Jacob Fatu come out but as Javon's going to the ring and take him out and insert himself into the chamber match. That happened before. I could see that maybe happening, but I really would prefer to see Javon in the match, but I just know where they could maybe pivot there. I also think this is a huge moment for Javon, for Trick Williams, for LA Knight to really, really, I mean, they're already, LA Knight's been there. He's been in main events. Trick Williams is on the cusp, and Javon Evans.
Right. This is a big spotlight moment for Trick.
So I really want them to perform well. I want Jey Uso to get eliminated first. I don't want him to.
Come on.
I like that they even tease that he's gonna yeet mid-match. So I hope that they cut that off. I hope that they actually don't give it to us in the match. I want whenever he's in there, I want everybody whoever's in there, maybe it's Orton, to be like, we are not doing this. And just
I think the showcase is going to be, obviously Javon's going to do all the crazy stuff that we've seen from Kofi. We've seen from numerous different superstars.
John Morrison.
Sure. Logan Paul, all this stuff. But what I do believe is that you're going to see, I think Trick Williams is going to have the eliminations. I think they're very high on Trick. And I think that's what you're going to see here.
As they should be.
I think Jey Uso can be eliminated by Trick. LA Knight can be eliminated by Trick. And I don't think it hurts either of those guys. I would see Trick having the most eliminations in the chamber. Could be 3, where then he gets beat by Randy to that extent. And I think you're down to Randy and Cody. Could I see Jacob Fatu sliding in the ring or something like that from under the ring? Sure, maybe. I don't know. I'd rather that not be the type of finish we get where Jacob lays out Cody and Randy and they, there's no winner and we got to have a fatal 4-way. I just don't want to see that. So we'll have to wait and see. But I do believe that this is, there's always a coming out party for talent, and that's the Rumble, the showcase. They get that. I think this is Trick showcase. Truthfully, I think Trick Williams is going to get the most eliminations, but I do think that Javon Evans is going to have a fantastic, memorable, holy shit moment. I do believe that in this chamber.
Oh yeah, he's gonna jump off, and Orton's gonna. Hopefully, they time it correctly, and Orton's gonna RKO him in the greatest RKO in the Elimination Chamber ever. That's exactly how it's
I'm just not ruling out any interference in a match like this. I know that that's why the chamber was created, but Shawn Michaels was underneath the damn thing to make sure Undertaker wasn't going to win, so he could set up that match at WrestleMania 26. So,
I mean, if you
anything can happen here.
You call him the Samoan werewolf. Nothing is more beastly than breaking into a cage.
Well, and when someone gets eliminated, that door gets opened. And I can see. I could see Drew McIntyre get in there. Yeah, I could see Drew going
actually in. Really like that's one thing I would really love for somebody be sitting there waiting in the wind. Someone's eliminated. They open the cage door. He runs in, runs ramp shot. But then again, it's a spot. He realizes he's stuck though. So because the cage door locks. I don't know. It would be a good spot.
Could we see Jericho show up and screw LA Knight to set up their match at WrestleMania?
Wouldn't hate that. I'd also like to see, just based on this match, I'd like to see a Trick versus LA Knight program.
What would be Jericho's motivation for showing up right now?
I don't know. I mean, I do believe
he'll tell you on Monday Night Raw the next night.
I do believe that because people had asked about the whole freezing out of Jericho and if that was real, and I had asked around, and I think that this was done on purpose. I think Jericho's camp might have wanted to have this out so that the talk deadens of Jericho showing up in WWE so that it's an actual surprise. So I think anything's possible.
Anything can happen in the world.
But to your point, Jordan, why? I guess we don't know.
Like, and maybe that's just the wrestling fan in me, but I immediately go kayfabe, and I know kayfabe is dead. But why would it makes more sense for him to show up at Mania than anything else? For him to break the walls down, show up in Mania, his intentions are clear. I'm coming for the world title.
There you go.
But this, I mean, because this is a pit stop, and this just does nothing but create a challenger. So, are you coming for the challenger, or are you coming for the title?
Good question. Good question. One we're going to have to wait and see. That's why the Elimination Chamber, just like the Royal Rumble, I do like the chamber. I think the road to WrestleMania is awesome. It's one of the best times in wrestling. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Jordan, why don't you let everyone know where they can like, subscribe, and follow you? You have a show tonight, don't you?
Yes. I'm doing my best impression. I'm running Wrestling Jeopardy, Collective Jeopardy. So we're running a Jeopardy style game. Yes, it's going to be very, very fun.
All right, let me get one of these questions. Let me get one.
Drew, you would do. I would run you out of town on Jeopardy. And you know
I've got one. Hopefully nobody's watching.
All right, Jordan or Juice, me and you, whoever can answer it first, we'll just say buzz. Okay.
All right.
Okay. And you have to answer it in the form of a question.
I know. What is?
Who is?
Yeah.
I'll give you one that I'm not going to use. Here we go. Let me find it. Here's the 500. Yeah.
Come on.
This man held the WWF Championship for over 7 years.
Who is
Bruno Sammartino?
I said it first, but that's fine.
You told me to say Buzz,
right,
and
Jordan, there you go.
Yes. So something like that. Yeah. So you can find me at Slick_Flair91 on X and Dubsy Worldwide. That is the Wrestle Collective. Wrestle Collective Weekly is tonight, where we will be running the Wrestling Jeopardy. Very, very excited about that. So that is on YouTube. So make sure to like, subscribe at the Wrestle Collective YouTube channel, and I'll see you there, 6 o'clock Eastern.
It's very exciting. And as for me, because I'm sure Drew would have passed the buck to me, episode 201 of the Juice Box will be happening, airing tomorrow. And it'll just be the Elimination Chamber prediction show, going over these matches a little bit more detail, if you will. And appreciate everybody that came in. And Drew was there. Jordan was there. We had quite a few people come in. Phil was there. Advocate was there. Dev, Grumpy. They all showed up for the live episode of 200 episodes of the Juice Box last week. Really fun time. I'm glad everybody. Yeah, I'm glad you guys came in. It was a good time. So appreciate that. And onward and upward.
30 seconds, baby. That's all I needed.
Are you referring to your appearance on the Juice Box, or the Monday night thing you had with your wife there?
Both. Yeah, make sure you go check out Jordan. Make sure you go check out Juice. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, and follow button here on Final Bell Media for No Dirt, Just Dialogue, our podcast and video. Listen, it's always fun. This is good back and forth. I enjoy hanging with these two gentlemen. I enjoy hanging with all of you here in the chat. Dev, Phil, Jay Herbert. We had some other people. Hannibal, I know, was here. Blake Mitchmore, who was supposed to be on the show today. It was my fault. He was calling and texting me during the show. I had my phone upside down. My wife even called me, and I didn't get that either, just so that we're all I don't know if I could show my phone. I cannot, unfortunately.
I wouldn't. I was about to say I wouldn't.
Here, I could just show you that that I missed. Nah, I can't do that because there's some people in here that I don't want you to see that I talked to. And that's for the crowd. So it was a mistake. Blake was supposed to come here and do his chamber predictions. We'll have him on for another show.
We need to. I would love to have a conversation with Blake. He's a great guy.
He is. He's fun.
Blake dropped some good comments in the chat today. So
see, I missed those too.
Yeah, he said you were the leader of the Hook fan club.
Oh, okay. There you go. So okay. Again, want to appreciate all of you for joining us. There was over 400 of you live on my X, and there was at times over 50 to 60 here live on YouTube. The numbers continue to grow, so we appreciate. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and follow button. Go check out the Wrestle Collective. Go check out the Juice Box. Make sure you continuously stay here for all of your No Dirt, Just Dialogue. Thank you, guys and girls, and we'll catch you all next week, where hopefully I can cue the frog a couple more times. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Say goodnight, Juice.
Later.